So welcome to another class, and in this I'm going to discuss about net factor income from abroad. And whenever we are doing national income, this aggregate net factor income from abroad is very important. The reason is that when you add net factor income from abroad to domestic income, it gives us the national aggregate, and that's what we're going to do. So just look at this. Then we find out what is it made up of. Why is it called net? So it's called net. It's like factor income from abroad, but we call it net factor income from abroad. It is the difference between factor income received from abroad by normal residents of a country and factor income paid to the non-residents of the country. So how do we calculate net factor income from abroad? It is factor income received from abroad minus factor income paid to abroad. Now, talking about factor income received from abroad is the income earned by the normal residents of a country from abroad in terms of wages, rent, interest, dividend, and retained earnings. And talking about factor incomes to abroad is the factor incomes paid to non-residents of other countries for their factor services within the domestic territory of the country. So in this, it is very important for you to once again think about what are residents and non-residents. Only if you are very conversant with the concept of the residents and non-residents, then it becomes very clear. So there are the three main components of net factor income from abroad. One is net compensation of employees. Second is net income from property and entrepreneurship. And third is net retained earnings. So when you're talking about net compensation of employees, you're talking about wages and salaries. When you're talking about net income from property and entrepreneurship, you're talking about a part of rent, royalty, and you're also talking about profits, and net retained earnings is also a part of profit. So the second and the third, as you see, net income from property and entrepreneurship and net retained earnings, these are what is known as, we call broadly operating surplus. And when you're talking about compensation of employees, it is the wages and salaries and other such benefits. So let's just go through them. And again, why do we use net? Because we have to make a distinction about what are we paying to people who are the non-residents here and what our residents are being paid there. So just have to remember that. Only then can you really understand. So let's take net compensation of employees. The difference between income received from work by residents from other countries and similar payments made to non-residents is called net compensation of employees. Second is net income from property and entrepreneurship. It refers to the difference between income from property and entrepreneurship received by residents from other countries and similar payments made to non-residents. And then we have what is known as net retained earnings. It is the difference between retained earnings of resident companies from abroad and retained earnings of net non-resident companies located within the domestic territory. So having said that, we can just talk about it once again, and it should be noted that the net factor income from abroad can be negative as well as positive. So when is NFI is negative? It is when income earned by foreigners from domestic territories more than the income earned from abroad. And when will it be positive? When income earned by foreigners from domestic territories is less than the income earned from abroad. So the significance or the importance of net factor income from abroad is that it is used to differentiate between national income, that is net national product at factor cost, and domestic income, that is net domestic product at factor cost. So when we add net factor income from abroad to domestic income, we get what is known as national income. Similarly, if we deduct net factor income from national income, we obtain what is known as the domestic income. We'll do this later also when we are doing numericals, we'll make it clear. So we have what is known as net factor income. So what is net factor income to abroad? If somebody asks, what is net factor income to abroad? It is factor income to abroad minus factor income from abroad. So let's take some examples of net factor income from abroad. Like for example, if I say profits earned by branches of SBI in England, what will it be? Yes, you've got it, it's factor income from abroad. So if I say compensation of employees to Indian employees working in Japanese embassy in India, what is it? It is factor income from abroad. It is because Japanese embassy in India lies outside the domestic territory of India. So if I say profits earned by a branch of an American bank in India, what is it? It is factor income to abroad, as it earned by America from India. So salaries paid by Indian government to Americans working in Indian embassy, what will it be? It'll be embassy in America is what will it be? Will it be included or not? Is not included in India's net factor income from abroad, though it will be included in India's domestic income, as Indian embassy in America is a part of India's domestic territory. So rent paid by a foreign embassy in India to the Indian owner of building is factor income from abroad. So for understanding this, we have to really make an effort to understand the concepts of domestic territory of a country. We have to know what is a resident, and then this becomes very simple.